My name's Edmond Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. I'm impressed to learn that the leadership of the National Legislature have responded positively to our advocacy on deliberations on the speech of the President as a policy guide. And we learned that the leadership of the National Legislature has formed a committee to study the speech of the President and table their outcome before a session of National Legislature for deliberations and for drawing of policy and action decisions. As a civil society, as a CEPO, we have pulled out 5 practical action points that the committee should not ignore in their report to present before the session of the National Legislature. Our 5 action points are as follows. Number 1, inclusive national political dialogue on election consensus. We feel is essential South Sudanese at their various capacities to sit and reach consensus on the election. Number 2, we want to see all election-related institutions, namely National Election Commission, National Constitutional Review Commission, Political Parties Council, Election Security Committee under the Ministry of Interior, Joint Defense Board, JDB, under the Revitalized Peace Agreement, Joint Transitional Security Committee. All these bodies should provide a hearing to the National Legislature during a session, and their hearings should help in drawing a conclusion on what is required to create a conducive security environment for the conduct of the elections, and where are we as the pathway towards the elections is getting narrow. Number 3, National Commercial Banks Conference that intended to strengthen and to empower our national domestic commercial banks. Our national domestic commercial banks are completely forgotten players in the economic sector for strengthening the value of SSP against the US dollars. So we wish to see that the country should hold a national domestic commercial banks to discuss the role of the national commercial banks in strengthening the value of the SSP through engaging on banking services. Number 4, effective funding for agricultural bank and agricultural cooperative society, agricultural farmers groups, because His Excellency President have said, let's invest on agriculture. We can't invest on agriculture if we don't have state institutions that manage financing of agriculture and engage agricultural community-based group like cooperative society and farmers group. Number 5, we need to see definition of the roles and responsibility of national legislature in delivering these harvested policy direction and action points from the speech of the president, because it's essential for us to ensure that after the deliberations, there's a practical responsibility and role taken by the national legislature to ensure that the executive respond to their outcomes and to their proposal and to their resolutions and their recommendation from the speech of the president. We don't want to see the usual behaviors where speech of the president is discussed and is forgotten immediately after the end of the session where there's a deliberation on the speech of the president. As a civil society, we'll take responsibility to provide oversight observation to ensure that our national legislature commit themselves to ensure that they harvest action points, resolutions, recommendations from the speech of the president, and they direct the executive institutions to respond in translating those ones into an action. And this will be reflected in the next financial year 2024-2025 of the nation. Thank you very much.